Listeners, would you rather be called fags, sewer rats, or fag openers? Let us know in the comments. And welcome to yet another episode of Three Speech Podcast, coming to you from the Fag Zone, live and direct. I'm the Mad Lad of Jihad, joined to my right by none other, all the way from his Kung Fu training sessions in Thailand. It's Mr. Ollie Horn.
Come quiet.
Wow, it's balloons. And then joining us today once again, it's Mr. Jussie Peanuts. Obviously,
hello.
There you go. What's up, guys? How's it going?
Oh, I'm not good.
I've launched as a hat guy.
Yeah, Ollie's now hat. Ollie is now. If you're listening to this, Ollie's wearing a cap. So two of the three are wearing caps today. Ollie's wearing it to disguise his impending baldness. Or why have you launched as a hat guy? Why?
Well, I needed to wear a hat because it's so hot. But every time I've ever worn a hat before, I've looked like someone that's just been let out for the day. And I think I need to get used to wearing a hat before I can start doing a hard launch back in the UK. And I like it. I think I look good.
Actually, I'm surprised you don't wear rugby shirts.
That would suit me.
What about
I used to wear rugby shirts.
What about your short beard? This is like Ollie's turned into a baddie. He's gone to Thailand.
Can I be serious? Can I be serious? Ollie, you look a bit better, mate. Is it that you look better? Then he looks healthier. Do you think?
I've spent okay. We can get into it in the podcast, but I've basically.
Well, this is the podcast.
Myself. Oh right,
Yeah.
I thought it was just some mates having a catch up.
No, no, you ain't my mate.
But basically, I've spent the last 3 weeks just trying to be good to myself. So I've slept well, and I did get a savage illness in either Singapore or Thailand, some streptococcus or something.
So wait a minute, where are you now? Hold on.
COVID.
Where are you now? Let everyone know, because no one knows.
Oh, I'm in Ao Nang, which is Krabi in Thailand, and it's absolutely gorgeous here. It's really nice, old like limestone cliffs and stuff. And I flew out 2 weeks ago. I spent 4 days in Singapore where I did a gig, and that was all right. And then I got really sick. Like I remember just the day I arrived here, I just felt awful. Ended up going to a clinic. The hospital got really worried about me. They were like, I think they thought I brought an infectious disease in. Then I went to a normal doctor, and he was like, yeah, I think you've just got some bacterial infection. I think it's strep to something or other. It was awful. Like my throat had like these like white kind of stones of, I don't even know what it was. It was nasty. So he put me on antibiotics, and my my friend who's a doctor said that the antibiotics I got given, we stopped using in the UK in the 80s. He said they've gone nuclear. So I spent, look at that. So I spent 5 days feeling rubbish. And then on the 6th day, I went to, I started my Muay Thai training. And then I was so glad to do my Muay Thai training.
Kung Fu.
That's right. And then get this. I then went and I tried kratom for the first time, which is a kind of tea.
Kratom.
And I spoke.
Oh, okay.
Kratom, yeah. And then I spoke. And then I smoked.
Yeah,
well, it is. I had no idea of its effects.
Oh, you can do it in tea form.
Well, I passed out. So, like, legit passed out. They called an ambulance and stuff. It was awful. Apparently, it was really.
Come on, don't bury the lead. This is the good bit.
So, what's it meant to do, and what did it do other than make you pass out?
Right. So, what it's meant to do is it's meant to be like, imagine if caffeine's a 3 and cocaine's a 10. Sorry, imagine if caffeine's a 1 and cocaine's a 10. This is supposed to be like a 3 or 4.
It's a focus thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it really is a focus thing, because the friend that I was speaking to after I drank it, I didn't realize the effects at all. Also, it didn't help that morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'd done 2 hours of boxing training, which I'm not good at, and then I'd not eaten as well. So it was a bit of a and I'd just come off these antibiotics, which apparently are not even legal in the UK. So it was all a bit of a mess. But so I drank this. I didn't realize how bad it was, and the person I've spoken to came in focus. You know when you've got a nice camera and the subject is in focus and the background goes blurry, right? That's what was happening in real time. And then apparently someone just asked me a question, and me just
maybe he was falling in love with him.
Well, I don't know. Well, whatever it was. Well, I did kind of fall in love with him a bit, because he did. He did help me out a lot, because he said go inside and sit on the sofa. And as I was walking, so I passed out hit my head on the ground. Was a right old mess.
What in
I
how
then
long?
came back.
Like how
So
long?
apparently the first time I passed out, first time was just a couple of seconds.
So you,
And
no,
I
but I
was
mean,
like, no,
how
I'm
long did
fine,
it
don't
take
worry.
from drinking it till you passed out?
Oh, less than 45 minutes. Because I also smoked a bit of like a couple of drags of someone's
Crack.
joint. But it was just weed, but it was really strong stuff, obviously.
It's
And
that.
then
You chucked the
I-
white. You chucked a white in your pussy. Just admit it.
I really didn't. Then I walked in. I was like, "No, I'm fine. And then I basically like properly. Apparently, I was unconscious for over 10 seconds. Wasn't responding to anything. It was really bad. So, but then after that, I've had generally good health.
So what? So hold on. So what does kratom do? And what?
It's like a natural Alvance, I've heard. It's a bit of a focus thing. It's meant to make you more motivated, able to perform tasks. And I know in America, like people are like, I think I've never heard of it in a tea, but I know you can get kratom.
Yeah, well,
oh, sorry, I
it
thought
seems
it's
that in
frozen
Thailand-
then.
It seems like in Thailand they only really have it as a form of a tea. But yeah, it was. I would have it again, but I think I'd have a smaller dose, and I think I'd make sure I've eaten before. But it did seem like the kind of thing where you could get shit done after having it.
Yeah, Alvance basically, Darius. I think that's Adderall maybe is a better. Yeah.
Yeah, but the locals, the way they seem to brew it is like it becomes this really kind of muddy drink. But I had like a one which was obviously designed for Westerners.
What did it taste like? Did it taste nice?
It just tastes like Sprite. They mixed. Yeah, it tasted lovely. It tasted like apple.
And then,
but
well, Sprite
anyway,
hasn't got apple in it.
No, I think that. Well, that's a good point. Well, lemon then. Just taste like a soft
Lemon
drink.
and lime. Yeah.
But they it was really.
But you look
embarrassing.
amazing, babes.
Thank you. But
what do you think of Ollie's new stubbly look? His manly look.
All of it. I'm loving it, mate. I'm getting.
Oh,
I
nice.
like you. Yeah, if I was
Soft
swiping,
launch
you're
of the
going
hat.
right.
Yeah, I'm training every day, and it's like I'm not. Skin looks good. I've had a bit of a glow up, but that's also because I've been following a moisturizing routine that my friend recommended. My friend got so offended at the quality of my skin that he marched me into a Superdrug and just bought me some moisturizer. So I kind of owe it to him to get that done. But listen, this might be the start.
You've got that glow. What comes from within? There's only so much moisturizer.
Justin's
this
mocking
might
you.
be the glow up.
No, I'm not. He looks good.
No, he's not.
I don't know how you.
No,
Justin's yellow. He's literally on one side. He's yellow, so he can't mock anyone. He looks like the fucking death warmed
How
up.
am I mocking? How am I mocking him?
You know exactly how you're mocking him.
He looks good. Do you not think he looks better than he did last time you saw him?
He looks.
Yeah, obviously last time we saw him,
he looks more American.
Well, whatever it is, I also think just waking up in the morning and having something to do, like this boxing ring is like literally opposite where I'm staying. This might undermine everything we're just saying, but I have ordered my dinner, and it is arriving imminently, so I'm going to go and grab that.
And what is your
You
dinner?
got to treat yourself.
How deadly is your
A pizza.
How deadly are you at now that you've been training? How deadly are you?
I now know how to throw a punch. I can actually throw a punch. The thing about Muay Thai is it's so much technique. It's nothing to do with how fit you are. Obviously, being fit would help. Yeah, but so it's interesting. You get really fit guys that have turned up to train and they're kind of hopeless, and then you get people that have done martial arts before and they're really good at it. I am obviously completely unfit, and they know
both
that,
unfit and untrained.
Yeah, but I am quite
and unconscious.
Learning things. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like a couple of the moves that I'm like learning. I can't do them quickly, but I can do them.
Go on, show us a move.
Hey, can I just say, me and Darius are all ears for your. We want you to thank us because since we have shown you a little bit of tough love, you've had a glow up, you've lost weight, you're learning how to fight, you're becoming a man. This is what bullying can do, people.
He's gone to get his pizza.
This is like the end bit of like what's one of them sort of like makeover shows where people come in as like Gok Wan or something. This is the new Ollie.
And then
it's all down to us, Darius.
That's more you. So now, but then why are you so yellow today then, Justin? Tell us about you. You've been in Portugal last week.
I've been in Portugal Monday to Thursday. And the vino did flow. And I've got no control when it comes to alcohol. I can't remember coming home. I can't remember getting through. I said to the other acts, I was like, man, in Portugal, they don't even have security. And they were like, we went through security. I said, yeah, but I don't to make you take your belt off or enough. And they went, you took your belt off. You could barely manage it. Can't even. I've blacked out. I've lost like 20 hours.
How bloody hell? And then what were the gigs like in Portugal?
There's 3 gigs. They're all just in.
Where'd you get back last night?
I got back yesterday morning, then did the worst gig of my life at Christmas party.
Oh, come on. Tell me the worst gig of your life. We'll go back
Well,
to
I'll start on Portugal. Yeah, so Portugal, first one was in a tapas bar. It's in the Algarve, which is like expats, right? Posh, in at the Algarve. Bit like the Riviera of Portugal, I guess. There's lots of marinas. Because Portugal's long, thin. It's like all coast, more or less, it feels like. So we went, it does fucking rained in that. And the first one, they were like posh, but almost like I was in the House of Lords posh. Like them old, not people that have made money and moved over there, people that have had money for like generations, and they were like different. Yeah, do you know what I mean? They're different. Yeah. They do. I can see why people.
They don't holiday in Dubai.
No, they wouldn't go to Dubai. It's tacky. But they were sort of people that like, you can see, like when you go, the lizards. They did seem like lizards or something. They're just a bit different.
Oh, if you're talking about lizards, what's her face? Rita Ora. They give you a bow on your pizza.
Is that a Christmas pizza?
My pizza's got a bow on it.
Put it under your tree, yeah.
Yeah.
When are you back, Ollie? Are you out there for Christmas, or are you coming back for Christmas?
I'm out here for Christmas and New Year, and then I'm going to go to the Australian festival.
That's a man that hates his family.
Well, it's not that I hate them. It's just that I don't want to spend Christmas with them.
They hate you.
More like it. I'm going to have a nice Christmas. I'm going to spend it with Libby. That's the decision.
He's going to try and have sexual intercourse with
Libby?
I'm going to try.
This is new information. Look at this guy. He's got a bird load up. He's a boxer now.
How good are you at boxing?
Triple threat.
So I'm not good at boxing. What is funny is all my trainers are literally half my size. And if you were to just take a little snapshot of me versus them, and a lot of them they're a bit tubby as well. Not all of them are really lean. But today I had a bit of a breakthrough. Today I had a one-on-one session, and every time he told me a move, I remembered it and I could do it, including, this is a fun one, you take a step forward with your left leg. So you step with your left leg in front of your right leg, and then you do your elbow like that, and you turn around like 360 degrees, and then like elbow their face.
Yeah.
You sound like that. I was spinning elbow. I didn't know that was a thing.
I like the way you explained walking. You step your left leg in front of your right leg. How else can you step? How basic do they have to teach you to move, big boy?
A lot of it was the absolute basics. But it feels amazing to do it, and it really doesn't matter that I'm like totally out of shape and unfit, because if you get like, you can feel it when your body is in the right position. And when you're focused and you throw a punch properly, you can feel that it impacts correctly. What I can't do, though, is the high kick.
The worst thing to tire you out is, I don't know why, have you ever, like, when you throw punches and miss? I don't know why. I don't understand. Yeah, not obviously, but like when you hit someone, it doesn't make you tired. But if you miss him, it's like you're fucked.
You know why? Because you're punching through. So when you punch someone,
pull it back.
You're expected to stop.
Am I still on?
Yeah, why?
Some big warning thing just flashed up on my screen.
Maybe it's because I missed.
I think it's something to do with Ollie's fucking hard drive in Thailand.
Before
the amount of men like that, though, Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, now
that's why you're trying to look younger. That's why you're trying to get yourself a sugar daddy.
Now you can use your kung fu skills to defend yourself.
Let's have a look at this pizza. Quickly, let's see this pizza. Food watch.
It's actually really good. It's like legit.
What's on? Nice. You're eating 2 slices at once.
That does look good.
No.
What pizza's on
it?
What's on
jam. This is meat. Well, actually, it's very rare to get pork here. So many of the places around here are Muslim. To be honest, I feel a bit ripped off. This is quite small. Maybe it was individual.
How much did that cost?
Oh, that's a perspective thing.
Well, man, this is delivered. This was an expensive option on Food Panda, but delivered, this cost £7. But then I gave a £3 tip to the delivery driver.
Why did you give me a £3 tip for?
Well, because
there's nothing to him. He could probably buy a house with that.
Well, this is the thing, right?
Ollie or him?
My lunch, my lunch yesterday, I got chicken, duck, and rice delivered was £1.10. It came with like 3 sauces. In the UK, the sauces would be £1.
Whoa! The chicken and the duck in the same dish? That just sounds weird for some reason. Was it, or do you mean chicken and duck?
No, it's like a chicken and duck combo. So
Does that
like
sound
roast
weird?
duck
Just
and
for no
roast
reason.
chicken.
I think that sounds weird.
To
I think,
ducking.
well,
Don't you think two different types of bird is weird?
I don't eat. I don't
guess
eat
so.
duck because it's fishy chicken. Listen, before Ollie went off to get his pizza, you were talking about doing a gig in Portugal, and you're talking about the lizard people. But talking about that remind me of.
Oh, yeah,
this.
sorry.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me just show you something. Can you see this? Is that come up on the screen?
Not yet.
Hold on. Wait there a second. Oh, I know what's happened. So this is Rita Ora, and I don't know if they're just trying to get us ready for to come out as lizards. But look, she went to like some award. She went to the fashion awards just recently, and she had like, look at that. She had like jewelry down her spine of like a lizard spine, but like where a spine would be.
That's what I imagine Leo looks like with his shirt off. Is that scoliosis?
Where's Ollie gone?
I know what you mean, though. Do you know what? I don't know. He's got.
I'm here, but I can see.
Oh,
the
I
screen.
think we can only have Rita or Ollie on the podcast at any one time. It's just too much hotness for people.
That's right.
I think that's what they did. Seriously, I think they did start drip feeding out the UFOs being real thing, didn't they? And then in lockdown, they went, "Oh yeah, UFOs are real. We've known forever."
Yeah, I reckon they're gonna come out and say, "Oh yeah, the lizards are real." In about 5 years' time.
I heard that on Reddit, they're starting to now proper censor any conspiracy talk, and they're blocking accounts if you comment on conspiracy threads. Not even like Sandy Hook or mental ones, where they're all, but just even anything. They're like, I think what they're doing is they're throwing us a bone of you got the UFOs, talk about them, but you can't talk about Big Pharma. It's just so clear that they're censoring. When that misinformation banner comes up, it's only certain things. Fuckers,
Wasn't it revealed that like a lot of the Reddit moderators and admins actually were like government accounts and stuff?
CIA.
Well, what the biggest one ever was Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
She was the biggest Reddit moderator, over 1 billion.
But didn't we look that up and that was bollocks? But it's still I want to believe it. But didn't we look it up on the pod?
Well, probably. Yeah. But that's irrelevant for our story.
Do you know this is what I've invented? Something I've invented a phenomenon called the Ferdinand effect. Have I told you this?
No, what's that?
You know the Mandela effect is where everyone has a sort of like mutual incorrect memory. Like everyone goes, "Oh, the Pringle guy's got a monocle," and then when you look, he hasn't. But everyone just thinks he has. And then you got the Streisand effect, which is where you try to cover something up and inadvertently sort of like elevate it. So Barbara Streisand's house was on one of those maps of the stars thing. And a load of people started going to Hollywood looking at her house and she hated it. So she tried to ban it and get taken off it. In doing so, it was like incredibly more publicised and more people came to look at her house. Yeah, drew attention to it. A bit like super injunctions do, innit? So Ryan Giggs, when that was the first one, he shagged his sister-in-law. And he tried to cover up so much the story, everyone guessed knew it was. It was like, that's the Streisand.
I thought you were about to say he started a new genre of porn.
Because?
He shagged his sister.
But isn't that why super injunctions were a thing? That injunctions were, there's something that you can't talk about, but that kind of
everyone talks about it more. It becomes a guessing game, doesn't it?
Shut up.
But that's the point, right? The super injunction is you cannot even talk about there being an injunction. Because before there was like, there's an injunction.
That's another layer. The lawman's here. The lawman's
has all that metadata as well about like, there are these parties, they had a dispute. Even that you're not allowed to talk about.
But you can talk about it in America, whatever.
Do you know what sort of law Ollie specialises in, Darius?
Hygiene.
Coleslaw.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
That is actually funny.
It's food. Coleslaw's food.
Oh yeah, coleslaw.
Yeah. So anyway, I've invented the Ferdinand effect.
That is actually funny.
Yeah, what's that?
Don't say it like that. Don't say what you mean. Like I've just lucked
You should do it as a joke on stage.
I actually could. I probably could.
Every
I've only
joke.
got one joke about law. Everyone wants me to do jokes about law, and I've written one.
Go on, then.
Which is
you can have it, but you can have it, but you have to do coleslaw. You got to do it like that.
Do your own law joke.
My only law joke is I've got a degree. I've got a master's degree in intellectual property law. But don't worry, I won't tell you my copyright law jokes. You'll only steal them.
Yeah, use mine. Fucking hell, bro. So I've invented something called the Ferdinand effect. Because as you know, or you might not know this, Ollie, because you're posh, but the BBC garden was vandalised back in the day, and everyone said it was Les Ferdinand what did it. Right, it was like, and it was a big deal. I remember they were very somber, and they came on. Oh, there's bad news. Someone smashed up the garden.
This is showing your age, Justin. This reference.
Okay. But even though I know it wasn't Les Ferdinand, the myth is so much more believable than the truth, and I think that's what we were just talking about, and about
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah. Even though it might be debunked, I'm still going with it. That's the Ferdinand effect. I'm going with the lie.
Or just that, like, if you think of that thing, that's the name you associate it with. Even if later, because there's not been another stronger association, Ferdinand's still the name that pops in your head when you think of Blue Peter Garden vandalism.
Yeah, if someone goes, "Oh, do you remember when everyone like that?" I don't want to give it up, so I used to say, "Do you know that was Les Ferdinand? Do you know that was Les Ferdinand?" Then when they reckon it wasn't. Now I say, "Do you remember when everyone thought it was Les Ferdinand?" But I've got to just say, do you know what I mean? I can't let go that Les Ferdinand vandalised the BBC garden. I just imagine him stamping on a tortoise.
I reckon he did do it. The fucking Spurs striker. Apparently he's got a massive dick. Absolutely huge.
Not as big as Dion Dublin's.
Another huge wanger.
Also, didn't Ferguson even mention it?
Yeah, you know who's got a massive penis? Jared Leto. It's called The Beast.
Yeah, but that's because he's so thin, isn't it?
No, apparently it's huge. In fact, I'll Google it for the podcast.
You look a bit like him, actually. Do you?
Some people say I look like a retarded Jared Leto.
With a small dick.
My penis is above average. It's not huge, but you know what? I don't go on about my penis, but I've been told that I have, quote unquote, a perfect penis. It's a nice penis.
Yeah. Darius and I have had this discussion before.
Yeah? What did we say?
That like both of us have had experience.
I don't want to talk about my penis, but I will say it's perfect.
Come to the fag zone, yeah, and you can get a first-hand experience. The fag zone.
Darius and I have had the discussion that we both had girls who've given our dicks compliments without mentioning their size.
Oh no, the worst one was I seen this girl once when I was like 18, 19. Girl from
Essex. Said to Ollie, "It's surprisingly clean."
No, she said that to me. I said to her, "So what do you think about dick?" You know, I said to this girl, like, "What do you think about my dick?" And then I was like, "Big, whatever." She was like, "It's very clean," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, but you're cut.
Yeah, but the point is,
that
says a lot about me.
You should never have asked a prostitute that question.
Says a lot about me, but more about her.
Can I ask a serious question I've always wanted to ask someone? And it's a bit gross and puerile, but I genuinely want to know the answer. Because you know that people say if you're circumcised, you don't get like cheese. Where does it go? Do you get like little skid marks on your pants?
What do you get? Do you actually get?
No. That's what they say.
Well, I don't know. My penis is very clean. I can't discuss your penis.
Is that a fair question, Ollie? No, I'm not. Or not? Do you know what I'm saying?
So I'm not circumcised, but I don't sufficient amount of
testosterone
discharged.
Ew.
Yeah, where does that go?
What are you talking about?
You do get a little bit, don't you? Because it's all got plumbing up there. It's got to come out a little bit at a time. Only a little bit.
If you can look, I'm just showing you Jared Leto's penis there. It looks like a baloney. Can you see it?
Yeah, I think you're getting close, mate. You're getting close.
What do you mean?
I think this fact. Yeah, you're getting close to turning.
To what?
Looking at stuff like that for gay.
What's gay about looking at another man's penis?
With a six-pack.
Listen, I don't know how you could think that's.
The last time we spoke, you and Ollie were talking. You and Ollie were talking about having naked pictures of your friends in the flat. I'm like, it's getting closer.
No,
you're edging it. Like, what's the time, Mr. Wolf?
No, you're making things up to make it sound more incriminating. Listen,
I started a rumor that Darius and I shared a double bed.
That's not helping things. The point is, we're not the ones who just went away with two men for a little week away in Portugal, Justin, and shared a bed.
Had my own room. We had an apartment, actually. So anyway, the first gig was very posh. Second gig, oh mate, there was this fucking. He was from Bulgaria, right? And he was a fucking one of the worst hecklers I've ever had. Wanted to fucking chin him, but what turns out, right? They go, oh, his name is Krassy. They go, oh, this bloke's a violinist, and he goes and plays the violin around all the bars and that. And his daughter with him. She's about 8.
Yeah, how old was he? Ollie, look at the thing, you fat shit.
You know, when I was talking on his subject earlier, because I thought he froze, and I thought being a professional. Look, he looks like he's frozen, doesn't he?
Ollie, stop looking down. It looks like you've frozen.
Yeah, and then I'm worried that you're not listening. Yes.
I'm listening.
Stop looking down. You just did it again.
Stop looking down. You're looking down. Look at the camera.
What are you looking at?
I've been out of the game for a long time.
Well, you're reading some boring text because
I'm looking at a pizza. That's what I'm looking at.
Well, take a slice, eat the slice, and listen to Justin's story about a boring Bulgarian and his daughter who were heckling him.
So I was in Portugal. I said, why? I said, why you brought her here? We come to a tapas bar. It's Portugal. You could have left her on her own. What's the worst that could happen? They did not like that. They did not like that. So
really? That's funny.
That's fine.
No. Do you know what? Every time I mentioned anything to do with pedos, everyone shut up. And on the last night, it was theatre style. And I got this bit about like that. It's not about being one. It's about, we keep that secret. It's about like how we've overtold kids about it. Like we just called them strangers. And now kids, we told them too much about what they actually wanted. Everyone's the tension in the room. And I just stopped and I went, every time I've said the word pedo on this trip, and it kills in England, I said, I feel like I'm in a pedo anonymous meeting. You're all like, but they were like so fucking stiff about it. And then I said to this bloke, I said, you can't play, going back to the Bulgarian, I go, you can't play the violin that well, mate. You can't even afford a babysitter. I was crushing. And afterwards he came up to me and he went to one of the other acts. Right, obviously, it turns out he's really super gay. Him and his boyfriend had adopted this girl, then they'd split up. So he's a single parent. But he came up to me when the other act, because the other act's all smiley and cheeky and likeable, and that's not my shtick.
Who's the other act?
That's not in James Beattie. He's super likeable. Super likeable guy, yeah. Everybody loves, but everyone wants to mother. All the women want to mother.
Beattie.
Did he? Well, when you was in Edinburgh, did he keep chanting Millwall?
Yeah.
He's got me doing it.
Millwall.
He does it everywhere.
James Beattie is such an attractive presence. Darius and I were driving back from a gig and took a detour to go and see him.
And we met Beattie Senior.
I've met his dad.
Dad's lovely.
His dad is lovely. He's like Paul Daniels, isn't he? So we went to so anyway.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. That's perfect. That's a perfect
everything I say is perfect, Chubbs. So we went to
what did you just say?
Huh? You look great, babes. You look so good.
I will step my left foot in front of my right foot, pivot,
walk to the fridge,
keep a strong back.
Look at him. What is your favourite pizza topping, Ollie? Cake.
I'm comfort eating now.
Yeah. So I went to what the fuck was I even saying? Oh yeah, so this gay guy come up to, he was all over Beattie, he was right next to me. I love you. I want you to come to. Turns out he owns a bar. Then he turned to me and he went, "Not you." I went, "Yeah," because I'd been slamming him. But then it turns out that he owns a tapas bar too. Get this. So I thought he was so disruptive, wouldn't shut up, ruined it almost. So I thought, because of his capacity as a violin player, he's used to being the centre of attention, and he's attacking. Now, when I found out this is much more sinister, he's a rival bar owner and was in someone else's bar sabotaging their night. This bloke was called Bruno, what owned the bar it was in. I think he was. No, mate, that's way worse, isn't it? I would have said that on stage if I'd have known he owned a bar. I would have fucking called him out. And the bloke that ran it was like gutted. I said, "I think he's ruined your night." He goes, "I am also thinking the same way." That's my Portuguese. I am also thinking the same way.
They sound Russian. Portuguese people sound Russian.
Did they?
Yeah.
I had an Indian in Portugal. I've dug you. I've got an apology.
What was his
Ollie.
name?
I'm digging you out. Good. I'm digging you out for eating pizza in Thailand. I had an Indian, but then again, Portugal and India have got a colonial, shameful past.
Sometimes you need to. I've been eating Thai food the whole time, but I thought tonight, if I'm doing the podcast, I'm not going to stay out too late. It's 8 o'clock now. This is me done for the night. I've got to wake up early to train, so why not? I've eaten Thai food the whole time. Man, the food is so good. It's so good.
So what is the goal for your training then? What, are you going to get all beasted up, or are you just doing it for fitness?
Nah.
What are you doing?
I just realised that I wanted something to do every day. I've never really taken a holiday before, and whenever I've gone abroad, I've always done gigs and stuff. But I thought if I have something that I can do every day, then at least I'm not gonna.
Have you lost any weight yet?
Like, I can see it. No. Oh, well, you've gained muscle then. You might not have lost weight, but your percentage of fat is going down. I would say, just from looking at your face.
I feel calmer as well.
What about your
beard?
Really
happy here.
Are you going to grow a beard or are you going to shave it?
Stay here forever. I'll keep it going for a while, I think.
You've had your eyebrows done as well. You've had something plucked or something.
I've not had my eyebrows done, actually.
Well,
I'm not. I only do that with Darius.
Maybe your webcam's low res because you look.
I think
you know, I looked at you last time I saw you, and you looked ill, man. You looked like really like I look, like pale and dark eyes and that, didn't he?
He always looks.
Another thing. Another thing is
now.
One thing I will say about life here is everything is so much simpler. Like I needed to get a moped to go to this clinic, right? Because there was no way of getting there in public transport. There's no public transport really. And if you want to hire a car in the UK, you've got to go online or download an app and register your ID and blah 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 blah. Right here, I just text someone who I know. I was like, "Do you have the WhatsApp for anyone who can get me a moped?" I WhatsApp a guy. 15 minutes later, a bloke just turns up with a moped. I give him 70 quid in cash, and that's it.
You've bought a moped,
there's no like. I haven't bought a moped. I rented it for the month. He told me when he wanted it back, but like, you know, just no.
But you know why that is? Because English people would fucking ruin it if they had like. That's like that on holiday and stuff. It's
We're quite
simple.
destructive, aren't we?
Like some knob would just crash them or steal them or some shit like that.
I suppose.
So when you hire a moped in Thailand, is it an optional extra for the chicken cage on the back?
Well, actually,
wait a
hiring a
minute.
moped's interesting.
Yeah, go on. Before I forget about the mopeds, I was on Oxford Street walking back, and then this guy got his fucking apple picking, got his phone stolen out of his hand. Then he's running down the street, going, my phone. And he goes, oh, I need to use the phone. I need to call the police. And I'm like, what? He goes, my phone's been... And I've seen the guys drive off. He's like, can I call the police on your phone? I was like, no. And he's like, let me use the phone. I was like, all right, but I'm going to hold the phone. And I'll call the... He goes, call
otherwise you're next.
Yeah, he goes, you call 999. It's an emergency. I went... I'm not sure it is an emergency. I'll call 101 for you. He's like, 999. I said, listen, I'm not calling 999 from my house. Like, oh, hi, some guy's got his mobile phone stolen. Then I had to walk down the street while this guy's on hold to 101. And I'm like, listen, I've got to get the tube now. Sorry, mate. Good luck with your phone. Use the phone box.
Welcome to England.
Yeah, welcome to England.
Well, you know what?
My
I walked
light
down
fell on me.
Oxford Street, but Regent Street, just up the road. Someone snatched my phone out of my hand, but I didn't want him to nick it, so I held on tight and then nicked it back off him.
Yeah, but some people, they don't. That's actually the second time I've seen someone that happen. I saw two people get away with it. Get their phone.
Ollie developed that technique from holding his pasties. Like, no fuckers having this.
No seagulls taking this.
Like, how did you hang on? That didn't make any sense, Ollie. You started with he snatched it out of my hand.
So basically,
now hang on. I'm dissecting this, not you. So you said he snatched it out of my hand, but I grabbed onto it tight so he couldn't. So he didn't snatch it. He attempted to snatch it. Then you said I grabbed tighter and got it back.
Look, he took it, and as he was taking it, there was a moment when it was out of my hand, but I continued.
That's your niece's phone, though, yeah.
This.
So he's trying to be funny about the phone case.
Well, actually, do you know what? The phone's replaceable. This case isn't. I got this in Tokyo. I love it. So I would have been so. If he nicked it, I would have gone. Just give me the fucking case back.
I've got a new case
for the benefit of the listener. I've got a kawaii phone case.
To be fair, this is pretty feminine, isn't it? I've been told that the
ring
case is feminine.
No,
the ring case is feminine.
No, because do you know what that's for? You put your penis through it.
Yeah.
Or your finger.
Mine would.
I've been using them wrong.
Anyway, point is, I grabbed on so tight, and he was wearing gloves. He just sped off. So it still feels violating. Horrible.
I was around the corner from Darius's flat at this really, really nice Italian place. I won't name it because I don't want anyone to rumble. The FZ, as I call it now, it's less offensive. And the waitress come out and says, "You can't have your phone on the table." I went, "What?" She was putting it in your pocket. She goes, "They drive past pretending they're Deliveroo, but they're not. We have about 5 snatched a day."
Yeah, you got to keep your wits up.
I've seen. There's a really nice YouTube video of someone that's tied a bike to some invisible thread, and they used to nick the bike, and then as they drive off, it hurls them off. It's such lovely justice.
We should make some of those prank calls, like do that with the phones, and then. But when they can't take it, then we grab them and beat the shit out of them.
And that's my job.
Yeah, using your new kung fu skills.
We've got backup.
They've got to wear pads and stuff, and I've got to wear shin pads, otherwise I can't do it.
We can use you as a bodyguard now, Ollie.
Ollie, but what stories have permeated Thailand from the UK? Did you see the BBC report of swearing?
That's not a word.
Well, yeah.
What's
that
not a word?
Came up on Twitter. I mean,
it's
I'm obviously
permeated.
Staying in a
what did I say?
Permeated.
No, I didn't. I said permeated.
The Perminator. Yeah, you did. You said permeated, didn't you, Ollie?
He did. But
I didn't.
Just to
You're
wrap
lying.
up, to wrap up the thread on mopeds and stuff, you can literally. They never. I went. So someone else who's here was hiring a moped from like a proper shop. Their official policy is they don't check if you've got a license. They want to see a passport, but their actual policy is we do not. Because do you remember I was telling you that I went to go get that international driving license, thinking it was important. So I went to the post office and paid £5.50 to get a bit of paper to say.
Yeah, well,
this
that's
is
a waste
international
of
driving.
money. No one's checking that.
Complete waste of money.
That reminds me.
Genuinely,
Sorry, go on.
Genuinely.
all they want is a passport. That's it.
Well, I was going to say that reminds me of in
Insane.
Pride. It must be an Eastern thing, because in Pride, the MMA, it was like the sort of like Japanese UFC. In their contract, in massive capital bold letters, it said, "We do not steroids."
Right.
It's just like, can you get on the gear, mate? We want a spectacle over here.
I must say that the expats here who have money, they've got an amazing life. Like genuinely astonishing. They're paying 400 quid for a penthouse, 600 quid for a sea view house. It's mad.
What are you staying in?
A shithole. I'm staying in an actual hut. I don't know how much. What's 1,000 baht in pounds?
I don't know.
Well, you'd know, mate, not us. Fucking hell.
1,000.
Yeah, I know. Let me just Google it. £22 a night. £22.60 a night.
That's expensive.
You've been evicted.
I'm on my ass. See what you've done, Darius?
Well, you're in Thailand.
You've evicted. You've been evicted. You've got to live in Thailand.
I've listened. I've created a franchise. I've created a franchise FZ.
Yeah.
Are you franchising it?
The FZ's got on tour,
Well,
baby.
Thailand. Yeah, that's the perfect place to go do it. To be fair.
Man,
So, do you see a lot of nonsense about then?
They're so. Do you know what? I think there's probably more in Phuket than here, but almost on a daily basis, I've met just an old guy. Actually, and they're aware. There are really old guys with young girls here who, as they're walking down the street, they do look ashamed of what they're doing. But at least I'll give them that. They don't like the fact that I'm here for them.
Do you think like victims of like this is not funny? I'm not trying to be funny. Maybe I won't even say it, but I'm just going to say. How can you have a country where there's so many victims? Do they not see it that way? Like you'd think, like 3 out of 10 adults have been victims of underage sexual trafficking or whatever.
Oh, hang on.
What do they do when they grow up?
I haven't seen men with underage people. What I've seen is like men who are clearly comfortably in retirement age.
Oh, that's not what I said, is it?
Like
I said nonsense.
10 years.
I thought people go out there and there's genuine nonsense going on. No.
Leo and I saw real nonsense there, definitely.
Yes, I'm saying you think
with the mum.
Think how many survivors. I'm trying to be sensitive. How many survivors of SA there are that are now like adults? Do you know what I mean? Is it like are they like Chelsea pensioners? They all get together once a year, like around a cenotaph.
What are the Chelsea pensioners?
Don't know.
I
know what they are, but I can't explain it because I don't. You know when you know, but you don't know.
I went to the dentist today, and I passed where they stay, the Royal Hospital or something for the Chelsea pensioners, and it's like the most amazing building. I was thinking, how do you become a?
And they've always got to wear the uniform, and you'll see them in a Weatherspoons wearing it, and everyone just buys them drinks. I've even done it, and I don't even really like. I don't even know why.
Yeah, but who are they?
They're just like a certain regiment. That's one of the things I know but don't know. Do you know what I mean? I can't really tell you. Is it like a
freemason?
I thought it's one of those things like, no, they're ex-service. And Chelsea pensioners I think they get housed in a certain... I think once you get super, super decorated, you can become a Chelsea pensioner. It's almost like you're a poster boy for ex-military. I don't know. It's one of those things.
Yeah, I've just Googled any former soldier of the British Army over the age of 65 who is facing spending their advanced years alone. That's nice.
Oh, right. Fair enough. I didn't know that. Do you know when you think you know something, but then someone asks
you... That's the hospital where they live. That's where, look at it. It's amazing.
That's like Buckingham Palace, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where's that? Is that in Greenwich or something?
No, it's just off King's Road.
That looks like the Royal Naval College a bit, doesn't it?
So what is it? How do you become a Chelsea pensioner?
You got to be 65 and lonely.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
So anyone can.
But they do freeload. Can I just say they do freeload drinks. They know exactly what they're doing. You go up to the bar when you've had a few, and every time I did, one of them was next to me magically with an empty glass, just looking at me. I'm not knocking them for it, but I might get one of them uniforms. I sit around Norwich in it.
Oh, well, they do that in America, don't they? People wear like service uniforms, so they get upgrades.
Stolen valor.
Have you heard of the water rats? I'm fascinated by these like secret Freemason like.
Oh yeah, tell us. I know,
clubs.
but I've heard of them. Do you know about the water rats, Justin?
I don't know much about. The only thing I do, the only
I know
thing
a little
I know
bit
about
them. Go on, and you say, and I'll say.
I know
they're the arch enemy of the desert rats. Nemesis.
Are they?
Because there's no water in the desert. Yes, it's the opposite, isn't it?
Who are the water rats? Tell us what you know, and I'll tell you what I know.
I don't really know much about them, but like, there's so many of these like secret organizations. But this one is entertainment, right?
Yeah.
And so they, I think they started off as like a benevolent fund for the arts, but it's turned into something weird. There's ones for politicians. There's ones for economists. So I'm not part of any of these. I really want to.
The Water Rats is an entertainment kind of Freemasons.
Like the Friars Club in America, almost.
Thingy's one of them. What's his face? Comedian with the big beard and
Joe
hair.
Joe Pasquale was King Rat for a while. That's how I vaguely know a little bit about them.
Oh really? Yeah. What's his name? Not Phil Jupiters. What's his face?
Phil Nickel?
Not Phil Nickel. Not Phil at all. I've forgotten his name. Nice guy.
Big beard and face.
His brother's an agent.
Oh, Andre Vincent.
Andre Vincent. He's a water rat, and he also used to live with James Bond.
There's so many of those things sound exciting, and I've done gigs in Masonic lodges, and they're just sort of like knobs. They're just sort of like the Rotary Club. I was like, what do you do then? And they're like, oh, like this year we put on a big fireworks display for the people around here. It's like, cool.
Yeah. Or private members clubs.
Yeah, because they reckon about that secret handshake. That is, when you find out that secret handshake, it's just shit. It's so just. Do you know what it is?
What is it?
No.
All you do is when you shake hands with someone. Can you see my hands? You squeeze. It's hard to do it with your own hand. You squeeze that first knuckle with your first tier, and it was depending whichever knuckle. I don't think you're allowed to say this, but whichever knuckle you squeeze in between is your rank. So if I was tier 1 and Ollie was tier 3, and actually I'm tier 3, you're tier 1. So when we shake hands, you would squeeze between my index and middle finger, and I would squeeze between your ring and little finger.
Show me how you shake the hand.
It sounds like an FZ initiation.
Imagine we're shaking hands, right?
Close your eyes and squeeze, okay?
In the fag zone, we dock with our penises.
Yes, exactly. So when you shake hands, you put your index finger in between a certain knuckle to let them know what rank you are. Yeah, and then no, you shake hands properly, but I can't do it to myself. You shake hands properly, but you reach around, Ollie, and you squeeze in between a knuckle like that. And then it's a normal handshake, but his index finger would be in there, right? And like your index finger would go in there if you outranked him. Literally, that is it.
And is the idea that if you shake hands with someone and you're not sure if they're a member, this is your way of finding out. And if not, it just seems like a normal handshake.
Yeah. Well, it's just sort of like, I think it's a way of going, we don't wear badges like the military to denote rank. We just all like more surreptitious.
Well, if you thought the water rats the Freemasons were rubbish, wait until you get a load of the water rats. Here they are.
Oh, fucking Nookie Bear!
This is my nan had a massive Nookie
Bear. Actually, that is poster boy for the gammons. Jesus Christ! That is like someone drew a face on a gammon.
Jimmy Tarbuck's a legend.
Call us that now. He might. Oh, fuck off! You're a Pasquale fan. What do you know, knob? Like, these are just like there's like a retirement home for hacks. Look at every photo. Look at this guy.
Who is it? Who is it that has that Twitter, which is all male? Another all male lineup.
I'm looking for.
Oh, I met him, Lee Carroll. Lee Carroll's a really nice guy. Click on him.
This is Ollie's Hall of Fame.
Where's Lee Carroll?
Lee Carroll, I've met. He's a really nice guy.
That's a view.
He's a proper old school.
You know they've got this exact thing in America. I think it's called the Friars Club, and that's where the roasts
my mate's in it.
Originated from. Yeah, it's like this. It's like this. It's like a show. It's the Chelsea pensioners for showbiz, isn't it? It's exactly what it is.
What's the Friars
How do we
Club?
become part of it?
Well, why you want to become?
You probably will, mate. You got to be a schmoozy schmarmer. Schmarmer? You got to be a schmoozer and a charmer.
I'm in.
Yeah, chihuahua. You got to be a chihuahua. You're in, mate.
What did they do then? What did he say? Lee Carroll's page isn't so good. What did he say? Being a water rat was like. That's a good informative page for Lee Carroll. Picture of him.
Things I don't.
Has he not got any information?
I don't know what they do.
There's like the Friday.
But
When you speak to these
I remembered
people,
the lawyer that I used to interpret for was a member of the Rotary Club in Japan.
What is
and
the
he
Rotary
said the thing about being a
Club?
member of the I don't know. But I went to one of their dinners. It was just a nice dinner. But he said the thing about it is you go anywhere in the world, and if there's a Rotary Club there, you're welcome with open arms. And I think it's actually, to be a little bit serious, it is a bit like being a stand-up. One of the really nice things about being a stand-up is you go anywhere in the world, and if there's a comedy club there, comics generally treat you well. You know, if you say you're a comic, generally you've got a couch for the night.
fraternity.
Yeah, it is.
Like we've
And
got,
so
like you can go into
have
things. I think there might be a delay. I'm not cutting him off, and then I talk, and he starts talking. But when you're in something with an automatic fraternity, like I played rugby, that was a bit like a fraternity. And like you say, if you haven't got that, then they just sort of like manufacture fraternities. It's like joining the fraternity that isn't connected to a thing. But when you speak to these people and they always go, "Oh, we do a lot for charity," I'm always like, "Oh, you don't. You probably do, but that's sort of like say you don't feel bad about going there and sort of like doing nepotistic business deals." It's like, yeah, we're all nepotists, but we'll raise some money for charity so we feel better about it.
We're so keen to institutionalize. Oh, Barry Cryer, he was good. Like, you know, loads of communities have it. Like churches, for example, or mosques is a good example.
Replacing church, basically. I think they've all replaced that church community. I do think that's where it started.
But there's so many instances. Well, even this like Muay Thai camp, right? There's people here from all around the world, Thai people, you know, international people. If I know staying here, automatically I'm feeling like, oh, they're on the inside. You know what I mean? Even though I've got no right to think that way, because we're all staying in the same compound. If I find out that, like, I was chatting to a guy in a coffee shop who said he was staying here, and I offered him a lift back on the moped because it's a long walk, and I only did that out of like
wanting to have sex with him.
Well, yeah, no, but it's a funny thing where I'm like, oh, he's one of us. But you know, the same's true for school. You know, there's loads of things where like we just, you know, and I don't know if that's more a middle class thing or not, because I think that, you know, working men's clubs are an example of like that's I think comedy. Or yeah, go on.
I think the comedy one's actually stronger than you realise, because when you're in green rooms with other comics and some of them annoy you and you don't like some of them and blah, 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 but you don't know how much you've got in common with other comedians until you're like in the green room with a magician. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's us two and him. Like, even if it's someone you don't like, you don't realise it's like, here's a fraternity that you don't always appreciate it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, tell us about your most awful gig to bond from yesterday, and I'll tell you about my one.
I did a Christmas gig last night in a new town near Cambridge that was all round tables, and the gig started at 9:45. And I was opening, and the sound was appalling.
Radio mic?
No, it wasn't a radio mic. When I got on stage and held the mic, it had zero weight to it. It was platinum tandy. It was all like going on every time you spoke into it. And I was trying to hold it down here, but anytime you could amplify your voice at all, it was like popping. And
I know exactly what you mean.
So awful. I got on stage.
How far was the stage from the audience?
There was a huge dance floor.
Yeah.
And there was a bloke on the sound booth. You know when the bloke on the sound booth facing the audience? It was. Oh, I'll tell you afterwards.
I've got a much worse. I've got an. Tell us.
I ain't started yet. I've set the gig up, right?
All right.
I've got a joke.
Can
about
already
sports.
tell mine's worse, but go on.
Yeah, that's because you was on it. But I was. But you know what? I'll tell you what. Then this is what you don't realise. I did 20 minutes, right? And it was, and you sort of think to yourself, this is when people just don't get comedy, right? Because a lot of experience and whatever ability, and I kind of made it playable and did as good a job as you could do, but everyone there still thought I was completely shit. Like, you sort of go, oh, you think I'm shit? You think I'm shit? But you don't know. These swan's legs, man. And this swan has bombs in its legs. I've paddled my fucking legs off under this water, and but that's the thing about comedy, isn't it? Well, that first bit was absolutely. I got a few laughs, man. You don't know what I just did up there. It's just it's
the fact they're even facing you and looking at you is the biggest win. Is the ultimate 0-1.
I wouldn't go that far, Ollie. But anyway, I did this Sports Direct joke, and there was a care home, 2 tables from a care home, Christmas corporate. I've got the punchline is they should sell Slazenger syringes. Slazenger syringes. I'm not going to do the accent. Slazenger syringes. I went, She went, I don't get it. What's a Slazenger syringe? I said, no, there's no such thing as a... I'm on stage doing this. It's getting laughs. I went, there's no such thing as a Slazenger syringe. Well, why'd you say it? I went, it's a joke. It's a Slazenger syringes. She goes, but what's a Slazenger syringe? In a thick, like, Filipino accent. I go, doesn't matter.
Accent.
We'll move on.
Do the accent.
No. Sir.
She goes,
they say sir like
no,
that.
no, that's not it. Yeah, she was in 5-star hotel. She was going, I don't get it. I was going, it don't matter. I go, well, move on. If you don't get something, you don't have to tell me. There's other, just we'll carry on. Slazenger syringe, what's it mean? I went, right. Slazenger is it's about Sports Direct. I go, Slazenger is a low-end sports brand, and syringes is what smackheads use. All right? And I thought, I had to expect to that level, and I went on.
But I thought Slazenger used to be quite good for tennis anyway.
They used to be, yeah, maybe. But, you know, Sports Direct, you see Slazenger socks and that. There's like 12 pairs for £4. So I'm going on.
But Slazengers don't make syringes.
Exactly, Ollie. So I'm going on, right? And I can hear her go, what is Slazenger syringe? 3 jokes later to her friends. I go, are you still going on about like I'm talking to her from the stage, right? And then a woman, another Filipino woman, had a laughing attack like you've never heard. All I could hear towards the back was it's so funny. She's on the floor. She's laying on the floor.
Disassociate ourselves with Justin doing that accent.
That was no, she wasn't. She was from Runcorn.
Did she?
But so everyone around, and honestly, what's going on in here? And then this young, honestly, right? Be real. This is real. This is the closest I've ever come. I was 0.1% away from when I walked off, walking past this fucking bloke sat at the front and come outside. It's the most I've ever wanted to hurt someone off a gig for. He was a nasty cunt.
Who? Why?
I said, I've been through a divorce. And he was quite young. And he looked up and went, yeah, how shit was your marriage? And I hadn't said nothing to him. I went, that's a really weird heckle. I went, what are you saying? He goes, yeah, your fucking marriage must have been shit. You got divorced. Ha ha.
Sounds like me.
Yeah.
That's just literally so far. This is exactly how Darius would react to you saying that.
Yeah. No wonder he's had so many close scrapes on stage. So I go, I'll tell you. I said, I left my wife. She left you. She fucking, and he's so angry. She fucking left you. And I went, whoa, what's wrong with you? I'm on stage. I'm going, what's wrong with you? I ain't even said nothing to you. What you got the ump about? He went, you're on stage, mate. I'm just waiting for the fucking... When they say I'm waiting for the comedy to start, they think we've never heard that before. That is the heckle that they think's their closer, isn't it?
That and... so-called comedian in
but they don't... Right, the heckle one is, I'm just waiting for the comedy to start, mate. Yeah. And I looked at him, and I just sort of like, instead of saying anything, I just looked at him, and I was like... And his face was so evil. Like, he acted... Like, he really was an angry little twat.
Why did you anger him so much? So then what happened?
I don't think he would have angered him. I think he would have come with an angry energy. I think I know.
Yeah, whatever. But he was taking... I mean, I looked at a woman on his table, and she was sort of looking at me a bit like, ooh, and I went... He's fucking nasty, isn't he? And then I just carried on. It's like, but like when the whole rest of my time, I was just thinking, I couldn't look at him. He was right there, right down there, stage left. I was looking at him. And I honestly had to stop myself. Going, come outside. I was going to fucking nut him. I honestly, because he was actually like trying to be hard to me. He weren't trying to, this is the thing you realise about corporates. You don't realise the power you have being in a club. They've all come and agreed to it. So in a comedy club, if you say to someone, what's your name? They tell you. But at corporates, they're not comedy people. And to be honest, if I was in the street and someone came up to me and said, what's your name? I wouldn't tell them. You don't realise how much they play along in a comedy club. But when you got someone like that, it was just being a fucking cunt. And I just want to go, come outside, mate.
The worst is after that interaction, he'll say something awful like, how bad was your marriage? And then you'll try and dig in. And then he'll go, carry on then. No, and the audience that says carry on then doesn't understand.
Oh, yeah, the first bloke I spoke to said that.
Again.
I said, do anyone want to guess where I'm from? And he went, Aldi. And I went, oh, that's nice one. Good one, mate. They were from Doncaster. I said, that's their Waitrose. He's actually paying me a compliment. And then he went, yeah, you're not going to top that tonight, mate. And I went, no one laughed, bruv. I think if you just listen, I probably will. And he went, carry on then. Go on you go. It was like, no. I said, no. You don't get to shout something out before I've even said hello. and then fucking tell me to carry on.
See, if this was me, it would have escalated to violence. Because I'll every time they ramp it up, I will ramp it up.
You know what I did?
I've got a very
More than
punchable
ever,
face.
I just stopped and I just looked around and I let it all carry on. And then I just say something like, what is going on? I wasn't trying to force over them and plow on. They would have murdered. That's what I'm saying. So they'll come off and go, that first bloke is the worst comedian I've ever seen. It's like, you just saw someone who actually did fucking well in that room, but they've got no idea. Do you know what I mean? That's as good as it could have been.
Well, I had a bad gig yesterday, but not as bad as that. And actually, the gig was
you didn't let me finish, did you?
But this gig was the potential to be the most awful gig. It was a gig for a football team in the army, in the barracks, 25 men. Christmas party.
This is just in your flat, mate. Don't lie to us.
Yeah, Darius wasn't booked as the comedy entertainment. He was there on a speculative basis.
He's a cum dumpster.
It's really hard to do comedy when you're wiping their jizz off your face.
It's really hard to tell jokes with a cock in your mouth.
What are you saying? What are you trying to? What are you implying? You're insinuating something, and I want to know what you're trying to insinuate.
Why are you in a barracks, Darius?
I was in the barracks with 25 hot men.
You're like, by the way, I'm a comedian. Do you want to hear some jokes?
The walk of shame off the barracks with a fucking limp. Oh God, that was a brutal one, man. I got to get an Uber. Fucking hell. He's got his hair all fucking ruffled up.
I got in there and went,
if you look at Darius's gig calendar, this is marked as date night with a heart emoji.
I got in there and I was like, listen, I think it's time we all took a shower, get in the mood for the game. No. Let's get in the communal bath.
Jumped out of a cake. Woo!
It's not funny making fun of me. You're insinuating you're implying something. I don't know what you're implying. You're trying to insinuate homosexual undertones, which
homosexual? Is that what you use? Chickpeas?
Yes, homosexual.
Homosexual.
Anyway, it was it's a football team. Like they were doing a football quiz. Then no MC, no nothing. Yeah, Darius is going to do half an hour of comedy. And actually,
please tell me the fee was good.
Man, the fee was not. Basically, it was a good fee, but I didn't read. But Shelley booked it for me. And when I read, and I'm fucking furious actually. When I read, this is my fault. She went, "Are you sure?" He says, "All right." I thought it was like just a gig on a base. I didn't read it was a specific football team gig. So anyway, the money was okay. It wasn't worth it though. But I did.
That's not last night. Last night it was like more money than a regular gig, but it used to be like 100% more for Christmas. Yeah. This was like 60 quid more and not worth it. And I got back from Portugal after a 20-hour blackout, and I was was sweating. I was having the horrors. These people have been drinking since. We know what the horrors is, isn't it? You don't know what the horrors is?
No. I know Aquamouth.
Just like a general non-specific anxiety. Like the horrors when you got a hangover and you're just like, ugh. Like, no, you know when someone walks over your grave and you're sort of like, no? Oh, God, no. I've got to stop drinking. Like, I feel like I'm explaining. I feel like
Darius hasn't yet felt an emotion.
Yeah, you've got to have empathy to have the horrors, Darius. Psychopaths wouldn't get it. But, no, but it was, and I was just sort of like.
Emotions are for pussies.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I'm coming around to your way of thinking.
That's
it's
right.
too late.
You should make that into a t-shirt, Darius.
Yeah, I don't believe in emotions.
I got a Christmas gift story,
Go on.
But not from this year because I'm not doing them.
Yeah. What tell us your last year's Christmas gig? Awful one.
It wasn't last year. It was the year before. Bristol 2 years ago. A venue that normally does a. Yeah, you'd think it'd be good. A venue that normally puts on a night said, "Are you free to close this gig?" So they kind of dressed it up as if it was their normal comedy night. I said, "Yeah, what is it?" He went, "Oh, a few friends are having a party." I was like, "Right." I said, "Is it like a private event?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I would charge £500 for that, right? Because you just want to price it away, right?" And he went, "But last time you did it for 150." I said, "Yeah, but that's because that was a gig, right? It's very different when you're doing a gig to a private event." And he said, "Well, I've kind of already told them that what the price would be. I said, well, I'm sorry. It was only like a week to go. And he said, look, they'll be really nice. It's a friend of a friend. You'd be doing me a favor. I said, look, if you could do it for 200, I'll be happy, because I already had a gig that night as well. So I said, I can do it. But he told them it would be 150. Oh, no, that was it. He told them it would be 150. I told him 250, right? So they, in their mind, the client was just paying 150 quid for a comedian, right? No respect whatsoever. I turn up. The DJ gives me his mic, which is still connected to his decks, less than a meter of cord. So I'm stood the other side of the room. The open bars just started when I go on, right? No announcement. So I'm stood at the back of the room going, right, I'm here to do some comedy for you guys. No,
it's so demeaning.
Respect. It's so no respect whatsoever. Half an hour I'm booked to do. I'll cut to the first 5 minutes. Actually, well, I really thought I've got this, right? Like I started to like engage them one by one, made some jokes about the fact they were, primary school teachers. I really like brought them out. I was like, I can do this. Started to bring them closer to me as well, because obviously I couldn't go any closer to them. Obviously, disco lights are going, all the usual stuff, right? So you can just imagine they're all stood up, disco lights are going, the bar's still open. It gets to the point where there's this one guy who will not stop interrupting every single joke I do, every premise rather. He has a comment to make. And I say, look, the problem is I don't think we can both do what we're doing, right? Like what you're doing is really important, and I think what I'm doing is really important. I can't really do this outside, but you can probably have that chat outside. So of the two of us, I reckon you should chat outside and I should carry on doing the comedy here, right? So I kind of, tongue in cheek. All he heard was, let's take this outside. And he took it as like a proper threat. And I found out that he was the year 4 teacher that was also the head of discipline at the school. And he had to get physically restrained by the other teachers because he was like, "What the fuck is this? Who the fuck does this guy think he is?" And was getting like proper actual threats of violence. He gets escorted out. At that point, one of the other teachers goes, "I think that's uncalled for. We're all trying to have a nice time here. You don't need to be mean." I went, "No, I'm there's just nothing you could do." I did my full half an hour and never got paid.
They didn't pay you. Why not? Why did they not pay you? How did they?
Because of your performance. Because of your performance.
Yeah, they said we booked
in the contract. And all he did was in the contract where it states good half hour. You've told me to come and do half hour. I did the half hour. If you didn't, I don't think it was going to be good.
Well, this venue, in fact, I don't think this venue does come from Zed Alley, so I don't mind saying it now. Run by a nice guy that didn't really understand, didn't quite get.
What was Zed Alley? Hey, I heard about them. I heard they were knocking people. Reputation, I think. Were they bowling alley? What was it?
No, Zed Alley is just it was a normal gig. It was actually all right.
I heard of someone else that knocked people. That was a bowling alley. Someone else. I apologise to all involved.
No, but talking about the fraternity thing, I then turn up to another gig in Bristol, and I think it was Jared Christmas was on, and I don't think I'd ever gig with him before. There was a couple of just other comics, and it instantly I knew I needed to say 2 or 3 lines about what happened, and they'd get it. I didn't have to prove. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't have to. It wasn't like a group of friends who I'd have to explain why I've had a bad day at work. They got it instantly.
Oh, of course. This is the thing. Yeah. This is the thing, isn't it? Like I'm saying, you've contracted me to come and do half hour. I did it. If it's shit, it's shit. It ain't like plumbing where you can go out, the boilers still don't work. I did it.
It was shit.
You paid for my time.
It really was shit.
Yeah, but it's always going to be shit. It's always
that's the thing. They're not comedy people. You think, right? There was 2 tables from a care home last night. One load of blokes from Doncaster that were like fucking scaffolders or something. There's a count... As if they're all comedy fans. Like none of what they're looking at. One woman couldn't even understand the concept of me saying Slazenger syringes. She didn't know what it was. She thought it because it's not.
But what is a Slazenger syringe?
How can you do comedy in front of people?
Slazenger don't make syringes.
Do they not? Fuck! I feel like a fool now. It's not a real reference.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But like I said, I did as much as I could, and I've been out 15 years, and every single gig I've ever done, I'd learnt something that you don't realise you are. I employed something or did something or treated it as 15 years experience, still looked like the worst comedian on the planet. That's how bad it was. I mean, I did not give up. I tried I really stuck at
Well,
it.
what were the
and
other comedians on? You have to mention their
I,
names. But
I
how
opened
did they?
and left. I opened and left.
Well, what was the MC like? Who was the? I didn't even have an MC. Who was your MC?
Andrew White.
And how was he?
He did. Look, he
Was his
did
MC
what I
better
would.
than you?
He didn't try an MC.
Is it
He
the
just
Andrew-
set the room up. He set the room up. He just said, "Oh, this is
Which
difficult."
Andrew White? There's two of them.
No, there's not. There's an Andy White and an Andrew White.
Oh.
The same person.
No, it's not.
Which one was
Andrew
it?
White from Salisbury. I was talking to him. Nice guy.
the
But
gay one?
anyway, he did what I would have
He's
done.
lovely.
I would
He's
have
welcome in the
I-
fag zone.
Darius is pretending he doesn't know who it is. Who Andy White is.
Andy.
Hang on. He's normally a really good MC.
He's
I've
normally
said that-
straight. He's
I'm not
normally
saying he
straight.
wasn't. I'm not saying he wasn't. I would say this. I would talk. I'm not talking. We talked about. I messaged each other after the gig. He well done, and I said well done to you, and all that was impossible. And then he messaged me and goes, "Oh, it's got better." And I went, "Well, now I feel like I'm really shit." And he goes, "No, forget that. There's that Filipino woman that had the laughing attack is now being restrained by 3 people as she's trying to storm the stage." And I went, "Well, at least that didn't happen." But I did have this bloke from Doncaster, and this is the difference, Ollie and Darius. You two have been threatened on stage.
Yeah.
This bloke wanted
Yeah.
to. But if you're a certain,
I had
not saying
Terrence Nelms be my bodyguard. Pre-wait, a guy was
a woman
trying
had to
punch me.
defend you. But
Yeah.
the thing is, if you're a certain size and look a certain way, I'm not saying obviously, not saying it hard enough, but if you look just enough that it's not going to be, if someone looks at you and goes, I could beat him up, but I reckon I'd have to try a bit, they won't threaten you. And you two must look like pussies. That's all I'm going to say. But when you come back, Ollie, you would be roundhousing them motherfuckers. No one offering you outside anymore.
I've had multiple threats of violence actually. I think I've
Darius
had
looks like he's
4.
gone really quiet because I've hit a nerve there.
No, I'm just looking to see if there's any
Slazenger syringes.
What is a Slazenger syringe? We're recording this on Friday, and we're gonna put this out straight away. As it goes basically live. So I'm just seeing if there's any stories that we
Can
should
we talk about
comment on.
Rwanda?
Yeah, go on in. What do you want to say? Good holiday destination.
it's
Hey,
sponsor
news night,
Arsenal.
fucking hell.
If we're gonna
No,
talk
I
about
think
something
it's really
that's music,
funny.
Yeah, go on.
No, but
Genocide.
there's one funny observation about Rwanda, which is the thing that's looking like this might not go ahead. The Rwanda scheme is that Rwanda themselves have said to the government, if your legislation doesn't respect international law, we don't want to be any part of it. So, the kind of the 360 of this whole thing is Rwanda are telling the British government about like the rule of law, international affairs. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Coleslaw.
Yeah.
It's comical.
Coleslaw was funny, huh? How sad is that?
Listen, before
Do you think it's funny?
to be honest, I'm not.
I thought that was like a geography teacher just
Did
interrupted.
did you see that Nihal thing? That the BBC guy.
Yeah. We spoke about it on Leo's show.
Oh, did you? But so what
Yeah.
happened? Look, I'm just gonna show you this. So a comedian friend of ours called Luke McDonnell commented on his Instagram,
Nice guy.
and he said, and yeah, good comedian as well. And he commented on the story. So this is a story about BBC presenter Nihal Artanyaki says his overwhelmingly white workplace affects his mental health. He did a big speech on this. It was reported in the Standard. So Luke just posted on his Instagram the headline, and then he said, being around people of different skin color makes me feel bad. They have a word for that with a laughing emoji, right? Just to his own friends. Then Nihal messaged Luke, and he said, hold on, he said, yeah, on Instagram, yeah, it's called marginalized. So then Luke went
Do
back.
these guys know each other?
No, this is the BBC presenter wrote to Luke. So then Luke went back, crocodile
he feels
tears.
attacked.
He went, crocodile tears, dude. You wouldn't say that about any other race of people and expect to keep your job. Imagine a white colleague saying their workplace is overwhelmingly black and it stresses them out. Heads would roll. I think that's a really good point. All right. So
Have you made it clear that the person that sent this message is a person of color? Has that been made clear?
Yeah. So hold on. It gets better, right? So then Nihal, BBC presenter, shoots back and says, Luke, I know your comedy career is hardly a success, unlike my broadcasting career. So stop being jealous of me. A BBC presenter. So then Luke just says the following. He goes, let me just
Actually, a privileged position He's a privileged, forget race and them. He's a privileged person working for the BBC, shitting on someone else.
Yeah, and then so Luke just.
Which is also,
and so he's made a judgment about Luke based on what, his Instagram following or something.
Yeah,
he can't know anything about his actual career.
He doesn't. If you haven't heard of someone, people going, well, I don't even know who you are. It's like, well, I don't know who everyone is. Just
have you been on live at the Apollo?
How childish is that? So then Luke shoots back and says the following, right? Luke says, my points are valid whether you wish to address them or not. This is the quality of intellectual replies I would expect from a BBC broadcaster. X person makes a valid point criticizing your argument equals you're a hater / jealous of me. It's the type of argument a Gen Z TikToker would make. I don't dislike you, neither am I envious of you. A public figure giving opinions on political and social issues leaves others the right to reply with their own opinions. I imagine you scoped out my page to discover I'm not white. Therefore, you couldn't use the shield of racism to deflect my fair criticism of the point you made. If you ever if you ever wish to discourse rooted in honesty, feel free to give me a shout. But what a twat! How would like to say, "Oh, you're just jealous of me"? It's like, what a dickhead, no?
Yeah, and it makes you realize this is the thing about social media. Like, you used to have that's someone like James Dean, or like you saw him in films and you've seen like pictures of him. But when you get these sort of like, I know not that Neo's an A-lister, but it's a bit like Will Smith is like this. When they start like putting shit out on Instagram and TikTok, it just devalues them so much in my eyes. I'm like, oh, you're just like a normal idiot, like the sort of person I argue with. And I thought these people are up here.
You're just like Darius.
You're just all the same. Cool. Like Neo's going, oh, who are you? Never heard of you. It's like any fucker would say that.
But why would? But imagine a BBC broadcast journalist going, "Your comedy kit." It's like what?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what at our level you think do that, and you think they'd be above that. But when you see, we're all the fucking same. The thing is, like we talked about this on Leo's show on GB News, and
what was that?
It is out. It was good, actually. It was good.
I'm doing it tomorrow.
I thought I was going to ask you actually if you were doing it this
Tune
weekend.
in from 8 p.m.
Yeah. But it's. I think he does feel something. All right, let's take it in good faith. This Nihal, if you want to get serious about it. Like the obvious thing the one thing that Lewis Schaffer said, and this is a point that I'd made and I was going to make, but he beat me to it on the show. This is he's a DJ who's now in his early 50s and trying to make himself unsackable. He can hear that broom corridor that sweeps them all out onto like Radio 2 or I don't know what radio station he's on. And I just think if he makes this big stink now and now they can't sack him because how bad would that look? I think he's just digging his heels in and trying to keep his fucking job in a sneaky way. So put that to one side. Take it in good faith. If he, and I often think this about box ticking, if that is what I'm not saying he has only got where he is because of positive discrimination. But if positive discrimination is a thing, in any guise, and you are a person of colour or marginalised, and you make a success of yourself, I'm the sort of person that would think that is all I'm there for. I think maybe his food, not survivor guilt, that's not the word, but do you know what I mean? If you sort of felt, oh, I've really earned this, but I hope I have earned it because I'm looking around and I'm the only Asian guy here. Am I here because I think he might be feeling the genuine something, but I don't think it's.
But the BBC,
does that make any sense?
The BBC.
It does make complete sense.
Yeah.
But one other point on that is like whether that's the reason or not. What he's clearly portraying is a sense of insecurity about his position.
Yeah, and is that insecurity from I'm the only Asian here? Really, if you went subconscious, I think I'm only here from tokenism.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that. And,
what did you make?
I don't know it either.
But he is insecure. Yeah,
what did you make of Luke's argument, though, which I thought was very good? Is if he had said that about any other race, I've walked in, it's overwhelmingly black. It's like you instantly be fired.
We know that there's this different. This is the whole thing because I've seen probably the equivalent of race baiters. You know, these people that come up on your algorithm. They're like on college campuses, and I've seen people say black people. I've seen black people say we cannot be racist, and they go, "Well, you're being racist against white people." We cannot because it's institutionalized, and I don't know. It's a very complicated issue. But we know that you can say it that way around, and that is how they're trying. You know, people would say that's to enact change, but the thing is. Hey, look, the truth is, he's from Essex. I looked up his background. Like, where has he come from that has never seen a white person? He's actually from Harlow in Essex. So it might not be ethnicity. He might just, because he's from Essex, he might mean they're too white, as in not orange.
Well, you know what else was interesting? So then this argument permeated on Instagram with other people. And one of the things, okay, what ratio would you be happy with? Like you're saying it's overwhelmingly white, even though the BBC has a higher proportion of ethnic minorities working for them than the general population. So what would be the number that you would be like? What would you want to look 50%? What would be the number? And he didn't answer. I thought it was very interesting.
I've got a more nuanced.
He's trying to keep his job.
I definitely think that message, particularly what he sent to Luke, that's projecting insecurity, no doubt about it. But I do wonder, whenever these discussions happen, right, like talking about whiteness and blackness, I think that we might be talking about two different things. That I've heard a lot of black commentators say, when they talk about white spaces, they don't mean skin color. They mean a certain kind of
Western
institution that they don't like. Yeah.
Colonial.
So, potentially, what he might have been trying to say is that the BBC is like old-fashioned and like, you know, it operates on this kind of old-fashioned way of doing things.
Imagine being fucking working class in there. Jesus Christ, there ain't one. There ain't one working class person to look around and realise there's only one. There's none.
Classism's a much bigger issue.
We can't talk about that.
But the BBC has places like the Asian Network, right, which does provide that. Is not just about the look of the people, but the culture.
Yeah, imagine if a white runner said that on there. That's the exact thing, isn't it? There's a white runner on BBC, like Asian Network, going, "What the fuck? I'm the only one around here that looks like me. I'm freaking out."
I bet it'd be quite a fun job being the token white person on BBC Asian Network. I want that gig.
I wonder if it's a full-time. Is it a full-time channel, BBC Asian Network?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, there's a massive Asian community. I bet it's like more. I bet that's more watched than some like. I bet it's more used than like Radio 6 or something. I bet it is. I bet it's because it's something that I don't watch. I bet it's well hot. I bet the ratings are pretty good. You know, it caters to a community that's quite large, and you know they're going to watch that. You know, they're going to watch it all the time.
All right, listen, we've just done over an hour. Is there anything else we want to talk about that I've forgotten that's on your mind that's interesting? The fag zone.
I've made a new gang sign. It's quite complicated. It's for the Illuminati. I can't do it properly.
So let's just do a summary. In summary, Ollie is not going to be fat next time we see him in person.
You're not fat now, Ollie. You look great.
If you meet someone... If you meet someone you want to pretend you're a Freemason, shake their hand normally, but start rubbing one of their knuckles, and not their balls.
If you meet in a football club, start rubbing one of their bell-ends.
That's the fag zone.
If you want to see Darius, Darius this Christmas, just head to your local army barracks, and Darius will
He's got a corporate in a sauna tonight. On Compton Street
in Chariots. Yeah. So what? It's nice. It's in Chariot. It's good for me to go to a sauna because of my bad back. And it helps when I get to relax and the lovely men just help me
One thing I do want to say. There's one thing I do want to say. Apparently, the last show you did, which I wasn't here for, you were in fact, no, I listened to bits of it. We talk about Darius's disability. And Darius is like, my disability doesn't define me, right? If I were on that show, the one observation I would give is I've known Darius for about 6 or 7 years now, right? And I've seen him do a lot of really embarrassing things. I don't think that I've ever seen
what happens in the fag zone stays in the fag zone.
No. So Darius like a cool party, right? Being cool, right? And there were some people at this party, which I do not respect one bit, that were sniffing sherbet powder from a mirrored table.
Disgusting.
Right? Fuck, you sound like a middle-aged woman.
Oh, it's
like someone's man,
right?
We don't condone the use of narcotics in this.
No, and Ollie was actually sniffing sherbet powder.
He was eating it.
Yeah.
Sherbet syringe.
Anyway,
what's the Slazenger syringe?
I've exactly. We were sniffing it from some Puma keys, right? But all I'll say is I will always defend Darius's disability. I know he's got mental problems well beyond his look, right? Like it's only very occasionally that his autism actually seeps out. Sometimes that happens.
See what happens if you pay implement Darius. Now he's bullying you. We've built him up too much,
right?
I deflect your bullying.
Right. And I've seen Darius have a bad back on occasion, right? I remember he got kicked out of a lawn in Paris because he went over a fence to stretch his back, and then a do you remember this?
Oh,
You got
yeah.
shouted at by some
Banned from a
French bloke
lawn?
'cause you.
Basically,
Yeah, he
I
was
was
trying to
staying
stretch
on
his
the
back.
worst Airbnb bed, and my back was killing, so I had to go down on the grass to roll it out. And then some guy went, "You cannot go on the grass." Stupid frog.
Anyway,
Fucking hate French people.
Darius wanted
don't.
some sherbet, right? He was sat on a sofa, and there was a table of him. And
Coffee
the thing about
table.
Darius's back is it does not bend, right?
Yeah,
So
he's
if
got
you
a
want
very
to
stiff
sniff,
back.
you want to bend your back, right?
Oh, I
Darius
see.
I couldn't
goes
reach.
completely forward and just literally misses. And so then he goes back again. And the only analogy I've got is, in The Simpsons where Homer has that desk toy, which is the pigeon.
Yeah,
little
yeah,
thing
yeah.
that- right? It looked like that again and again and again. And because Darius was quite drunk, he didn't quite realize how bad it was going each time. It was like he was at an amusement arcade on the grab, get another go, giving another go. He then starts lying on the sofa lengthways and tries to go sideways.
I'm
He's like
disabled.
rolling
I'm genuinely
4 or 5
disabled.
4 or 5 £5 notes
Imagine him
together.
going
I've
down
had to
on
go
a
to-
cot then.
I had to go to the doctor and say, he goes, "How does your disability affect you?" I said, "I can't sniff cocaine off a coffee table. I mean, sherbet. It's a real disability. I just don't
now
mention
you
it
said that
much.
word, I think this now can't be monetized.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
What word?
What word?
What, everything else? And you can't. That's the one that's the problem.
Probably.
Well, that will lose our lucrative 10p from ad revenue.
Anyway, genuinely, one of the most tragic things I've ever seen anyone do, and I will now defend Darius's disability. Like, you wouldn't fake that. They talk about, like, what was the thing in The Office where if you want to find out who's really disabled, just set up a fake fire alarm in the disability, whatever, right? No, there's no way if Darius
Get your
wanted
cock
to, he
out
would
and
have
watch
done.
him go down.
Listen, my back is. I'm disabled, but I don't let that define me,
imagining,
'cause
I'm
I'm cool.
You know those things in America they drill for oil with, like one of them. You know those things?
Yeah,
I couldn't reach. It's too straight. Look, on that humiliating and embarrassing story about my back. Leave a comment if you've enjoyed this podcast or some advice to a disability charity. Share it, like and subscribe. Sign up to our Patreon, which I forgot to upload last week's episode, so I'm going to upload it this week. So we won't do a Patreon this week. We'll do it next week.
And don't forget, high quality CBD products are available.
Yeah.
They've been really helping with my panic attacks. The CBD with ashwagandha seriously have helped. I've started taking them before I go on.
Highpoint.care. And that's a genuine endorsement.
And that is an actual endorsement. So if you want me to keep doing that, I need some more. Otherwise, I ain't saying it no more. And that's how genuine I am.
I've got loads of CBD stuff.
Well, ain't no good there, are they, bruv? Ain't no good there.
I've got loads of it. So use the code 3SP hyphen.care, especially if you suffer from anxiety. Then the
horrors.
The horrors, which I don't.
I don't think you can say suffer from. The PC way is if you're living with. If you've got lived experience of anxiety.
I survived a hangover. I'm a hangover survivor.
If you're living with anxiety like Jussie P, then the ashwagandha CD pills from highpoint.care will help you. Right, on that note, tune in tomorrow night, GB News from 8. We'll be on Leo's show. I don't know what we're going to be talking
can
about.
I just say, I've got another podcast I do with Ash Frith called Pranks and Furf, audio only. I promised my listeners that I would scratch my nose, and I did it for my list. So you should do something for the Three Speech people at home. The community. They appreciate it, mate. They deserve it.
Shout out to Hussaina and Dr. Von Fuckwolf. They're the only our listeners, and everyone else.
Maybe 3SB needs a secret handshake.
That's what I'm saying. This we've got to fraternitize this shit. That's what we're saying. We could start one.
All right,
the sewer rats.
All right, what should we do for the 3SP
Sewer
handshake?
rats.
We
need to call the free speech community should be called the sewer rats. You're the sewer rats, and we should.
The things that seems to define.
I
all
was
of
going to
these
call them the
communities, they've got a
degenerates,
big legacy.
the degens.
That's like you're trying too hard. Like we're like edgy, whoa, edgelords,
Yeah.
degenerate.
All
a
right,
little
then.
bit, isn't it?
All right,
It's a little bit like
lot.
What about people who frequent the fag zone? What are they called?
Ollie.
Well, they can't all be called Ollie.
That's
Listeners
what
to
you
the
call them.
3SP should be listeners to Free SP? What they should be?
Actually, do you know what? My podcast that I used to do, Japan by River Cruise, there was one week where we got 3 different emails from a guy called Brian, right? So 3 different people, 3 of our listeners were called Brian. And for some reason, we just found it so funny that we've got such like a narrow demographic.
The Bryans.
Yeah. So all of our listeners were called the Bryans. And so even now, because I don't do the podcast anymore because reasons, but I still get people come up to me at gigs sometimes and go, "Oh, I'm a Brian." It's really nice. It's like really cool. It's actually cool because we didn't force it on them, right? We weren't like, "Hey, this
It's
is
got an organic story.
Well, we need an organic word to call people who go fags owners.
I think
Fags. Fags. Listeners, would you rather be called fags, sewer rats, or fag owners? Let us know in the comments. All right, take it easy. Bye.
Peace.